going on, everybody? One thing I've learned on this spiritual journey is that I cannot become anything that I'm not already. It's impossible. I wouldn't try it. The only thing that I can do is become more fully aware of who I am right now, what I am right now. And now, the problem with doing this, with identifying who I am right now in the present moment, the main problem that I have with this is my mind. My mind is full of these forms called thoughts. And these thoughts, it seems like 98% of the time, they're trying to drag me away from or out of the present moment. So, how could I ever possibly know who I am? How could I ever possibly become fully aware of who I am right now if I can never focus on right now? It seems that that's the objective of the mind is to allow you a way to escape or deny reality. And this um, this has been true in my experience. Like most of the day, we kind of just go about our day, and of course, you must be thinking about what you're doing, but how many of us are consciously aware of the types of thoughts that we're thinking? Because when I started to pay attention to my thoughts, I realized that not only were my thoughts trying to keep me in the past or in the future, but my thoughts, I realized I had allowed my thoughts to become my identity. I believed that I was these thoughts in my head. Like, is this all that I am? Just a ball of thoughts in my mind? And as a result of this identification with my thoughts, um, I would have a thought and I would act on the thought without thinking about the thought. Does that make any sense? So I'll have a brief moment where I think, okay, I want a Pepsi. And I don't even think about it. I just get up from wherever I'm at and I go get the Pepsi and I drink it. And so what? I have the feeling I want to go smoke a cigarette. I have this thought. And without thinking about it, I just commit to action and I go smoke the cigarette. And in the moment, I'm not necessarily aware of the thought that says, I really want a cigarette. It's subconscious. And subconscious means it's below my normal or my own personal average level of awareness. So I'm just not aware of the thoughts that are going through my mind. And I remember the first time I said no to my thoughts, um, I was on my way to work in the morning. It was pretty early. I stopped at an intersection, busy road, 6-lane road. There's a red light. I stopped at the red light. I was probably the like 15th car in line. So even when the light turned green, I didn't really even have to pay attention that much. I was going to be stopped again before I could make it through the light. And I noticed that my thoughts were kind of taking me into the future, telling me, step one, two, and three of what I was going to do exactly when I walked in the door at work. And I realized this and I was like, wait a minute. Why am I worried about that right now? And so I decided to pull myself back to the present moment. And the way that I did this was I started to just become aware of what was going on around me and even with my own body. So I noticed my breath. I noticed where my hands were at on the steering wheel. where my feet were on the floorboards or the pedal. I noticed how it felt to be sitting in the seat. I could feel the vibrations of my car. I could hear other cars. I had the windows down, so I could hear other cars. I could hear brake pads or acceleration, and I could hear a plane and some birds tweeting, you know, every now and then. And then I heard something that I've never heard before. And I've driven this route to work probably for a year now, and I've sat at that light countless times. Um, and I heard this sound for the very first time. But the sound has always been there because I checked for weeks afterwards to see if I could hear that sound. And I didn't even have to be sitting still at the red light to hear the sound. I could be driving and hear it. And what I heard were crickets in the grass of the median. And this is what did it for me. When I heard those crickets, it snapped me into the present moment. And I was like, you hear those bugs? And I know if I had somebody in the car with me, just we were just hanging out, and I would have said, "Man, do you hear those crickets?" They said, "What crickets, bro?" Like they wouldn't have been able to hear it. It would have been beneath their average perception of the present moment. And but when I heard the crickets, it snapped me into it. Like it was kind of strange. Like the grass started like it seemed to be glowing, but I mean, of course, it wasn't really glowing. It was just the way the sunlight was hitting it in the morning, and but I could really see it. Like I've seen it so many times, but this time I really could see it, and just the blue of the sky and the white of the clouds seemed more vivid. The tree that I could see was exquisite, like it was perfect, like just perfect, and the grass around it was perfect, and um, like I don't know, I just became present. It's like the only thing I could say. I was in the present moment. And when that was going on, this is the craziest part about it. When I became present, there was like no thoughts going on. Nothing telling me what I needed to do when I got at work. No thoughts about what I was going to do when I was off of work. No thoughts of, um, the person that had just cut me off 5 minutes ago. Um, no thoughts. And with no thoughts, there was no problems. I wasn't experiencing any anxiety. Um, I've probably been depressed for over a year now, but there was no depression in that moment. Um, I felt good. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I know it sounds strange, but that's probably the best way that I can put it. I was exactly where I was supposed to be right then in the present moment. And it's crazy that the mind spends so much time creating fantasies. And not only creating fantasies, but these aren't just your everyday, you know, illusions. Like you think of like card tricks or something like that. This is like an illusion that most people believe in. Like they believe that it's reality. They believe that the future is reality. And they believe that their past is reality. And so they hold themselves to these judgments based on their past life experience and based on what they hope for in the future or what they believe is going to happen to them in the future. Like for a long time, for me personally, I thought I was going to die by the time I'm 28. And I'm 28. Um, I'm still alive. I haven't turned 29 yet, so you know what I mean. Fingers crossed or whatever. Um, but yeah, it seems like everyone just believes in this, and then when you do identify with your thoughts and you're not really present in the present moment, you begin to have these thoughts that are like, why did I say that? Or I didn't mean to, or I wish I wouldn't have, or I wish I would have. All the what ifs and the wishes come in, and these types of thoughts are just like it becomes obvious that you're not in control, that you could take whatever you call free will and toss it out the window. I mean, why else would you be doing things and and then have the thought like, why did I do that? Or I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? You know, these thoughts like, and the reason why is because these are subconscious thought patterns. And the way that works, you know, have you ever seen a picture of a brain like it has all those little lines in it? Well, it's almost like your thoughts kind of just roll down these little lines, and they create like a path, I guess. And then thoughts, it's easier for thoughts to travel this certain path. You know, even if this certain path leads to anxiety or leads to depression, when you're not aware of the thoughts, this is what's going on. Um, you know, when thoughts are allowed to just run free, unchecked. Um, but you can eliminate those types of thoughts. Sorry, my back hurts, man. Those types of thoughts and or experiences by becoming more fully present, by becoming more aware of what's happening right now around you and within you. Um, Now, at some point on this journey, you're going to watch all the YouTube videos that there are, or it's going to feel like that. Like you're going to watch all of the gurus, all of the self help or self actualization people. You're going to watch all of the new age teachers. You're going to watch all of the pastors and preachers. And at some point they're all just kind of going to become like one experience, and it's like you've had it all, there's nothing else there for you. Eventually a person begins to um, make videos for you, and now you're watching videos that are like, hey, here's my top 3 steps to manifestation using the law of attraction. um, you know, and then they're trying to sell you something like merchandise or um, a book or a specific program. By the way, guys, check the description, link in the description. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, but, you know, so eventually it becomes this blob of stuff that can't get you anything. And now you realize, oh, okay. Now's the time for me to be present and to actually do the work. And it's actually an amazing thing because you've been on a journey this far, but it's nothing compared to the journey that you will go on. It's like you live vicariously through the past and the future and through the people around you and the YouTubers, the popular YouTubers. Like um, you want to be them. You know, you want to move the way they move and speak the way they speak and feel the way they feel, but you can't do it. It's impossible. You cannot become anything that you're not already. But the coolest thing about it is what you are already is everything. It's everything. Like, okay, so here it is from my point of view. If this moment called right now is all things that exist. See, everything that is in existence can only exist right now. This is reality, baby. So, with this same thought process, in my past, there's no hope for happiness and fulfillment or enlightenment. And in my future, there's no hope for happiness, fulfillment, or enlightenment in my future. Why? The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't exist. It's all what you make it right now. So the cool thing is that success and happiness and fulfillment or enlightenment, these things are all a reality for you right now. The problem is you fight this, man. You fight it. The mind. The mind is crazy. The mind treats reality like a punching bag, dude. Fights it all day. You have to escape it. It's so freaking boring to sit around and do nothing. You must have something to do. You must have a video game. You must have the TV or a movie. You must have the radio. You must have snacks you can eat. You must have soft drinks you can sip on all day. You must have something to do. And it's this like boredom, this thing that drives you insane because you're not living in the moment. You're living in the past or living in the future somewhere. You always got to do something. And this is another thing that I realized. That always needing to do something, it's from overstimulation. it's from a lack of not just being. You just spend too much time being human. Just relax and just be. Um, so I experienced this because I took my wife and my um, at the time 5 month old daughter, 4.5 month old daughter to Florida for a vacation to visit my family and stuff. And while we were there, we went to the bowling alley and we brought the baby. And now, you know how they do in bowling alleys, they turn the lights down low and they got music playing. And at the end of every alley, there's a TV and you can hear all these different noises. They turn on the weird lights like neon lights and stuff like that. And it's very stimulating. And for the baby, it was overstimulating. She's used to having a relaxed setting and she's actually she's which way do I need to move? She's sleeping right there. That's the baby. So she's used to this kind of relaxed thing. So at the bowling alley, we were there for like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. And so she's just being bombarded by sensory input the entire time. She's overstimulated. She took no naps for the entire day. Now, at the time, she was going to bed right around 9 o'clock. And so right around that time, she started to get upset. Like maybe she would have like 5, 10 minutes of she was okay, and then she would just start crying. Normally, 9 o'clock, 9:30, dude, she's out like a light. But she was up until 2 o'clock in the morning, just crying for no reason. She was basically still coming down off of all of the sensory stimulation from earlier in the day, and it messed her up real bad that night. It screwed up her whole entire schedule, and we had to go through this whole thing of taking away the sensory inputs and stuff like that. But this is how we live every day. Every day you're bombarded by the internet, your social media, your cell phone, your computer, the TV, and everybody else's technology around you. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things bombarding you. You go out, you see all the neon lights and advertisements everywhere, ads everywhere, right? Um, so you're constantly bombarded. And so when you're in a calm place, you have no objective. You must create an objective. You know, it could be said that, there never really is a problem until your mind gets involved. Your mind needs a problem to work on or a problem to solve, something to fix. And this requires you to think about past, future, which then leads you to desiring things. And desiring things leaves you feeling like you don't have enough right now, that what you have right now isn't good enough, and that you must find happiness somewhere else. But when you slow down for a minute and you can recognize the life force energy that's in you, that's coursing through your body, this energy, it's like magic, dude. There's no way I should be able to control my hands. Like, how does this happen? We can go through all the anatomy and the different functions of the nervous system and all of this. That's cool, man. But still, where is that energy? Where is it being generated from? How does it last so long? Where's the batteries at? You know what I mean? And how do thoughts or these impulses for my mind, how do they make me go like this? How are you able to understand what I'm saying? All of these thoughts, it's amazing. When I look at my own body, I'm like, holy smokes, dude, who put this thing together? You know what I mean? Like it's so advanced, like for my mind to think about my body, how perfectly it is. Like the plumbing system in your body, dude. Could you imagine just imagine the plumbing system of your body, all of your veins and your arteries and all of this, man. It's actually insane, the plumbing system in your body. And that's just one small part of your body. Everything about your body is completely amazing. It's like magic, man. Um, and you can get into the present moment and you can begin to appreciate the life that you have, not the life situation that you're experiencing or that you're observing at the present time, but um, okay, and let me go back here. The life situation, whatever, this I said in the present time, your life situation, it never is actually the present time because your life situation has a lot in it. Your bills and and all of this extra stuff, the bills and work and scheduling and all of this craziness, this jumbled up mess of thoughts. But right now in the present moment, if I relax just right now, dude, there's nothing that I need to do. I don't have anywhere to go. Like nowhere, no one that I need to see, nowhere that I need to go, no one that I need to see, nothing that I need to do. Like I just am here. And and this is kind of where I've started to live my life from, this of being here. Like nothing is, if I take a deep breath, I say, okay, I'm breathing, oxygen's going, blood's flowing, um, I'm conscious, I'm aware. I'm not hungry, I'm not thirsty. If I am, I eat and drink. But like, let's just say I don't pay the rent this month. Does that kill me? Me not paying the rent? Does my life end? My life doesn't end. My current life situation may change. I might get evicted or whatever. But it's just my life situation. It's not my actual life, and that's what I'm trying to get to right here. Is your life? Your life is different than your life situation. Your life situation is defined by thoughts, but you can escape that. So you define it with these thoughts, and what that does is it holds it in place, it locks it in place. You're no longer open um, to certain things happening in your life because this is what you believe life is. You believe that this is where you live, this is the house that you live in, this is the food that you eat, this is the music that you like. And so you kind of create this concreted mental construct of what your life situation is. And what that does is, like I said, it holds it in place. But if you could give all of that up, you'll realize that what you've been doing, in fact, is actually fighting against what you really want, what you really desire. At like, we're not talking about like, yeah, you want a Swiss cake roll or something like that. No, not this type of desire. We're talking about the desire in you that is wanting to be fulfilled, that is wanting happiness and to be complete, to no longer feel lacking. That's you present right now in the moment. And if you can focus on the present moment, your external situation will kind of mold and shift and change itself and adapt to the way that you're thinking about things. So if you're open to new experiences, the new experience is able to come in. But if you have concreted ideas about who you are and what and who everybody else is, then you may never achieve what you've been looking for. But yeah, as y'all can see over there, the baby's waking up, kicking and stuff. So anyway, man, I hope y'all have a good day. See ya.